Shalum, Shalum and welcome. My name is Symmanayah and I'd like to welcome you to this channel. If you're tuning in for the first time for this series, I want to emphasize that there's an importance to understanding when someone shows you scriptures or when you read scriptures and just use your own mental abilities to comprehend, we may sometimes miss out. It is important to discern, to pray and discern the life in the scriptures. In 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 4 through 6, it mentions the letter kills, but the spirit made alive. You see, my brothers and sisters, sometimes when we use our comprehension, we read things differently than others. We don't get the same meaning. And as a result, we have the division and confusion that we see among brothers and sisters. I submit to you, when people say, show me the scripts, or emphasize, tell people to show you the scripts, it should be accompanied by the words, pray on the scriptures as you read them and seek to discern the life in them. You see, my brothers and sisters, whether it be in English language or another language, or what some promote as the Hebrew language, all terms and words have, well, mostly all have subjective meanings. They mean different things, my brothers and sisters. And if you don't seek to discern what the Spirit is saying, you may comprehend it incorrectly, thus resulting in a division that we see among brothers and sisters when it comes to language, when it comes to talking to one another. This particular segment of Letter and Spirit is about Babel Review. It's centered around language and communication. So come with me, my brothers and sisters. It is important to discern how two words with different meanings can produce the same results. You see, my brothers and sisters, one such word is remnant, and one is great multitude. How can you have a remnant and a great multitude? It depends on what you're looking at and how you're looking at things. You see, compared to the world population, only a remnant will be saved. But when you compare that remnant to the population, if we use the living, those that are physically alive during these end times, when you compare a remnant to a great multitude, if you looked at 10 million people compared to 8 billion people, that's a remnant, but that's also a great multitude. You see, my brothers and sisters, we sometimes speak on things not aware of what do they really mean. In this passage, my brothers and sisters, like I said, I'm going to talk about language. But please note, names are encouraged in the scriptures. But to chase after that original language is wrong. You see, there is no scripture instructing us to look for the original language except in Zephaniah 3:9 when it says that time will come where he will restore the original language. So many people are running around talking about this is the Hebrew. They don't even specify whether it's modern Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew, some of them. Some will say modern and paleo, and they'll interchange them, mixing them up because they have not mastered understanding that these are different dialects, but they are not the original language that people are telling you. It is unwise to abuse your time following misleading individuals. In other words, there are people, there are groups where their teachers, their mores, are running around telling them this is what the Hebrew says. And people unlearned or newly awakened to who they are, believe them. Don't know to ask, well, what Hebrew are you talking about? Paleo, modern, Yiddish? Or what dialect are you talking about? Many are so amazed by thinking that they have met someone that know Hebrew and they succumb to the seduction of erroneous teachings. My brothers and sisters, end times will be some of the most tumultuous times, meaning a lot will be going on, a lot of changes, a lot of challenges we will face. We will face the need to demonstrate a sense of urgency, instructing, giving each other information, directing. We will not have time to be bouncing around struggling with different languages. Given that a sense of urgency will erupt, ask yourselves, will we have time to go back and forth over language? Think about that, my brothers and sisters. Think about someone that's telling you all these years that they're teaching you Hebrew or interchanging modern and paleo, but still cannot fluently tell you how to go get the car because we need to start moving, or how to give me a glass of water, or what's for dinner. Have a fluent conversation. There is nothing wrong with discovering different languages. Make no mistake, it's nothing wrong with discovering historical language or different languages. The problem comes when lies are promoted. There are many who go from modern Hebrew to Paleo Hebrew, with some using them interchangeably, mixing them up. Neither of these are the clean lip or pure language mentioned in Zephaniah. They tell people that's what they're teaching. One version says pure lip, pure language, another version say clean lip. So depending on what version you read in the scriptures in Zephaniah, those are the descriptions that I'm talking about. And I would read that passage in one translation in a moment. Come with me. Allow me to present the passage that make pursuing the original language attractive. Zephaniah 3:9 say, "For then I shall turn unto the people a clean lip, so that they all call on the name of Yahuah to serve him with one shoulder." That's what eSword version 11 says. Some translations will say a pure language, as I've mentioned. I believe many people who are awakened to the truth believe that they are embracing modern Hebrew and or Paleo Hebrew. This puts them close. They believe by embracing it that this puts them close to understanding our history. Some even believe it makes them more spiritual, more stronger. Please be informed, modern Hebrew is an Aramaic-influenced dialect. It is not the original language that these lying teachers and mores will tell you, and lying brothers and sisters that try to prop themselves up, to try to make a name for themselves. Furthermore, I would like you to know that the words in either modern or paleo, they are subjective. They have many meanings. These words have multiple meanings. By being subjective, my brothers and sisters, they too require prayer to discern how they should be used, how to understand them. But those who claim to be teaching you Hebrew, they're missing the mark. Keep in mind, we once had one language, but our rebellion caused what led to different languages. We were scattered for trying to make a name for ourselves. I submit to you this day, many mores, teachers, and others are trying once again to make a name for themselves, telling you that the language that they're teaching you is the original language. They're lying. They're misleading and deceiving many. Again, remember I said there's nothing wrong with the name, but nowhere in Scripture are we instructed to chase after the original language. Let us know when to be patient and when to witness that pure and original language come to be. Let me share with you some history on Babel. Thus the title of this message, Babel Review. Come with me to Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 3. And I read in eSword version 11.1. It said, "And all the earth had one language and one speech. And it came to be as they set out from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to each other, Come, let us make bricks and baked them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. Stay with me, it continues. And they said in the 4th verse through the 6th, they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, a tower whose top is in the heavens, and make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth." Then Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built, and Yahuwah said, "Look, they are one people, they all have one language, and this is what they began to do. And now they are not going to be withheld from doing whatever they want, wherever they plan to do." Stay with me, my brothers and sisters. Remember, they were trying to make a name for themselves. He goes on to say in the 7th verse through the 9th verse, "Come, let us go there and confuse their language, so that they do not understand one another's speech." And Yahuwah scattered them from there over the face of the earth, and they left off building the city. This is why its name was called Babel, because of there Yahuwah confused the language of all the earth, and from there Yahuwah scattered them over the face of the earth. Many people believe that we must return to the original language we once spoke right away. There is nowhere in the scriptures that we are instructed to pursue the original language. We are informed that there will be a time when we will once again speak one language. It is for that reason that I believe more people are pursuing what they think is the original Hebrew language, and it's not. Again, I have no problem with learning different languages. My argument is with those promoting a lie, trying to convince others that they are teaching the original language when they are not. Did you know that there are also individuals who are pushing words and terms that are not even modern Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew? Individuals have made up words and present them as Hebrew terms, and they are not. One obvious example is the use of words with the letter W in them. There is no W in modern Hebrew, and there is no W in Paleo Hebrew. And those who are saying Shalom, Yasharallah, Yahweh, those, well, maybe Yasharallah, I don't necessarily see a W in, but anyone who calls themselves saying a Hebrew term and using a W, there's no W in Paleo or modern Hebrew. And if you look at Strong's, consider the money that went behind printing Strong's. Don't believe that. The letter W came about as using double U's, two U's together. That's when it looks like, if you look at it, two U's together, it looks like the letter W. And it produces a oo sound. That's why we say Yahuah, ooh-ah. There's no W. That's anyone who calls themselves teaching you any type of Hebrew and they putting words up with W on it, they are lying and deceiving you. And many people have believed and still believe they're learning Hebrew with the letter W. My brothers and sisters, if we were to take time and research what any teacher is promoting as Hebrew language, it will result in discovering inconsistencies and contradictions. This occurs at the very least because many words used will prove to have subjective meanings. Yashral, my brothers and sisters, end times are here. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of things to learn. I have witnessed many Moorish teachers and others promoting and deceiving individuals into thinking they know the Hebrew language. Now let me ask you this. When earthquakes, when wars, when famine and pestilence, when movement come in the final Exodus, when persecution rise up in a way we've never seen it before to our face, Will you be listening to a guide or giving guidance in some form of Hebrew if you're in the Western Hemisphere? How many believe that people are saying, what are you saying? What does that mean? And distraction is coming. You think you're going to have time to say, well, in Hebrew it means this, but in English it means that. Going back and forth, many are seduced, my brothers and sisters, thinking they're learning Hebrew. In these final days, my brothers and sisters, we will understand what happened with the Tower of Babel. We will understand that even right now, when I talk about Babel but review, people have gone to babbling, speaking a language that they know not what they say. They making up terms in some cases, or they're using references from material that was produced by the synagogue of Satan. I strongly encourage each of us to ask specific questions when learning any language. Instead of just learning words, discover how to produce or speak in a full sentence, paragraph, or phrase at the very least. There's an individual, they say it's the Moreh of Mores, saying he's teaching Hebrew. And he interchanged words with modern Hebrew and Paleo-Hebrew. And for years, he's been doing this. And others like him that shoe fit have done this. But how many in their camp have you ever walked up to and they was holding a fluent Hebrew conversation? And then you ask them, well, what were you saying? Oh, I was telling them today I went to the store to do X, Y, Z, or I washed my car. Where's the practice? Where's the demonstration of fluent Hebrew since they claim to be teaching Hebrew? Much of what we see is a phrase here or there, a word here or there. And then when new people come to the group, they wondering what you're saying. And then you say, oh, well, that word means this. Sticking up our chest, thinking that we're showing somebody that we really know something. And sometimes all we're doing is echoing more deception. I strongly encourage each of us, ask specific questions. And when someone starts telling you this is what the Hebrew means, and this is what to, ask them, where did they get that from? And if they show you a Bible app, a scripture app, or a book or a reference material, look it up for yourself, my brothers and sisters, and you will see practically almost all Hebrew terms have multiple definitions and meanings, just like the English language have multiple definitions and meanings. You see, my brothers and sisters, there's a reason why the scriptures say the letter kills and the spirit makes alive, because we can interpret and promote words that can be confusing. But it is the Spirit of Yahuah that brings the wisdom, the knowledge, the discerning factor to understand what must be said and what is being said to accomplish the things that have been designed to be presented. My brothers and sisters, whatever decision you make regarding language, always be prayerful. Always seek to discern and understand the desires of the Almighty Yahuah. Remember, words of many different languages are subjective and have different definitions. And it is the living spirit of the Almighty Father Yahuah, whose word come to us in Yahusha's name to teach us and guide us and make known. My brothers and sisters, take a moment to discuss what's expected during these end times. Talk about what is anticipated to move into unity. Envision people trying to give instructions during intense times. Do we really think we will have time to go back and forth on different languages? Example, look up a Hebrew word, any word. See there are different meanings for such word. Discern which one is correct. Then go back to English. Time is of importance, my brothers and sisters. What are you spending your time on? Or are you taking this matter serious, this journey serious? Yasharal, O Yasharal, the time is now wherever country you're in, whatever that dialect you speak. in terms of Spanish or Latin, Bantu, French, or English. Pray to discern the life in the words that you may understand what the Almighty Father is saying to you. Let us rise up, O Yahusha, and consider Colossians 4:5 that says, walk in wisdom towards those who are outside, redeeming the time. How many hours have you spent looking up, trying to match the Hebrew terms that a teacher or moray is presenting to you? How many times have you took that belief that they have spoken to you to be true and used it in conversation? Not just saying Todah Rabbah or Boker Tov. Good morning, good day, thank you, or whatever the interpretation may be. You going back and forth, back and forth. How many minutes have we taken listening to someone call themselves teaching us a new language when they are lying, deceiving, misleading, trying to make a name or have made a name for themselves? It is one thing to seek to worship and obey the Almighty Yahuah through his word, sent in Yahusha's name, versus trying to make a name for ourselves. My brothers and sisters, end times are here. The time to understand what you're reading, what you're receiving. The time to discern and understand how it feeds your spirit, feeds your mind, our minds, our spirit, makes us stronger and set-apartness. The time is now to choose how much attention we will give to things that are of grave importance. It would be wise to examine how much time you are spending sorting through various Hebrew dialects that are not our original language. We will discover how we manage our time will be critical during times of gathering. Choose wisely, my brothers and sisters. Let this message, Babel Review, stir you to pursue what is set apart and true. How you are managing your time, how we are managing our time. If you've listened to this, give it thought. If you're hanging out with a group just because they claim to be teaching you the modern Hebrew or the original language, they may be leading you straight down a path that will be very unpleasant and painful. My brothers and sisters, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the name, and there's nothing wrong with learning historical language. But as end times come, how will you know what you're supposed to be doing? Do you believe someone's going to speak fluent Hebrew? Is it modern Hebrew, Aramaic? Is it Paleo? Is it Yiddish? Throughout much of the world, my brothers and sisters, a wide awakening is coming. It's time to come away from the deception and the waste of time as we are seen rise up among us. Pray and watch. The Almighty Father will make clear how we are to communicate and talk to one another, what we are supposed to be doing, when, and with whom. On that note, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your tolerance. Pray earnestly on what I just said and consider how you spend your time and how communication plays a role in our growing in maturity and sensitivity to the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah, sent to us in Yahusha's name. Consider John 14:26. On that note, my brothers and sisters, be encouraged. Our redemption draws near. I end by saying shalom to you, my brother, my sister, my family. Let us wake up and choose wisely how we spend our time and on what. Shalom.